Hey everybody, thanks for watching. My name's Adam. Real quick, I'm just going to go over with you the basics of how solar works, just so you have a general understanding, guys, of kind of what you're what the process looks like of how we put it on the home and how actual energy is converted into power. So, real simply here, I drew a picture of a house, right? I'm not a perfect artist, but here you go. Here's how traditional power gets to a house, right? We have telephone lines, we have power plants, we have nuclear plants, sending all this power through distribution stations along the way, right, to get to your home. Now, obviously you convert the power, you use as much as you need to, right? So what we do is real simple. We come in, put solar panels on a house. Everybody's seen them, everybody knows what they are. Simple. Okay? So, sun light comes in, hits those solar panels. Okay? So it's really important for people to know how this works. They'll ask you, how exactly does it go straight into my home? How does solar work, right? So you have what they call our solar panels are called photovoltaic cells. Okay, so you have I can never say it, photovoltaic cells on the roof, right? Then they have what they call an inverter. Generally an inverter is on the side of a home. So you have conduit that runs down the home. So there's two types of inverters. There's a microinverter, which means on the back of every panel there's a little inverter that's behind it that obviously you can't see. Usually this is used when you need multiple different arrays, and when I say multiple arrays, if you have two on two sections, maybe some solar over here, that's probably fine. You can get away with what they call a string inverter. But if you get more than two, you get 3 or 4 different sections that have solar on it. This roof's an A-frame, so it's pretty simple, but say they had another part out here, we put solar on that too. That might require microinverters. So there's two types of inverters. Again, micro and string. Now, generally we stick to string. It makes the most sense. They all just run on one microinverter. So the conduit runs down to a string inverter and then goes into your electrical box. Now you have here on your electrical box, you'll have a meter, right? That everybody's seen on the side of their house. So here's how it works. Sun goes down, hits the solar panels, it converts the energy from DC to AC, travels down the conduit into the inverter, or if it's on the back of the panels, they'll convert them on the back, travels down into your electrical box, right? Now, people will ask, does that go right into the house so that my lamp in here all of a sudden starts working? No, it does not. What it does is the power is sent into your meter and into the grid. So again, people ask, what's the grid? This here is the grid, right? So all these lines that you see all over the place, power lines that are all over, that is the grid. The grid is essentially a giant battery. So when people talk about putting in batteries for solar, the grid is essentially that, a battery, right? So as of right now, what we try to do is use the grid. In the future, most likely batteries will become more prevalent. Right now, it just doesn't make sense and they're not cost effective. So using the grid is more efficient. Now again, you have a meter on the side of your house. Okay? It'll tell you how much power you're using, a few other things here and there. Right? And it has a number. Now, when you push power, or you take power from the sun, you put it in your solar system, goes down the conduit into your meter. What happens is that your meter runs backwards. This is an important term. It's called net metering. So, net metering is the reason that this all functions with the grid. So, for example, I hit the solar panels, the energy goes into the grid, my meter runs backwards, because traditionally my meter would run forwards, costing me money, right? So what we want to do is we want to push that meter backwards essentially having you earn credits for the power that you're producing. So now, how they measure power, the main one you're going to use, they have megawatts and all kinds of large sizes of power. What you're going to use really are kilowatt hours. This is what you're going to see on people's bills, right? You'll learn what a kilowatt system is at a certain kilowatt size, but kilowatt hours are what people use. So let's say, for instance, this homeowner in the month of May used 1,000 kilowatt hours, or 1,000 kilowatts, right? Just for simplicity. Now let's say the sun's energy sends the conduit down into the meter goes backwards 1,000 kilowatts. So it makes 1,000 kilowatt hours. Well, if you've used 1,000 and the sun's produced 1,000, that means you use 0. So you will have no electric bill from the utility company. Everything was completely and 100% produced by solar panels. Now let's say that's different. Let's say in the May you still used 1,000, but maybe you have a smaller system, or you just didn't get as much power out of it that month. Say you only used, or the solar, excuse me, only produced 800 kilowatt hours. Okay, what are we left with? 200. Okay, so that would mean that this individual produced 800 kilowatt hours from solar, but they used 1,000, so there's 200 left. So one misconception with solar is that when I have solar on my house, I will never see an electric bill from my utility company. And that's just not true. There are times, if your system does not make enough power, you're going to have to pull power from the energy company. Luckily, again, it's a lot less. So the whole goal, obviously, we want to be able to produce 100% of your power, but that's not always feasible. So what would happen is, your meter would have not gone back as far as it went forward, right? It's kind of like an odometer that goes both ways, right? Or a cell phone minutes. A lot of people relate it to cell phone minutes, right? If you have rollover cell phone minutes. Because the opposite is also true. Say, again, in May, you use 1,000 kilowatts, but your solar system produces 1,200 kilowatts, right? So, if you look at it this way, this is done through solar, this is done through your utilities here, this is done through solar. So, you have positive 200 kilowatt hours. So like cell phone minutes, some people's cell phone plans, your energy rolls forward. So you have an excess 200 kilowatt hours you can then pull off of the grid for free. Okay? So, just to review, sun hits the panels. Panel energy is converted. From DC to AC, it's sent down into a conduit, into an inverter, into your home. Well, I'm sorry, into the meter, right? Which then regulates the power into your home. And if your solar makes 1,000 kilowatts, or your utilities, I'm sorry, keep messing that up, you use 1,000 kilowatts, your solar produces 1,200, you have a 200 kilowatt credit from the utility company. Because then let's say after May, June comes around. And maybe in June, you use, 800 kilowatts from the utilities. But your solar, let's change this actually. Let's make this, just for easy sake numbers, again, we'll say this uses 1,200, and your solar only makes 1,000 that month. Again, just trying to keep this simple for simple numbers. Then you owe 200, right? Well, last month you had a credit of 200. So what would that do? It would wash it out, right? Again, you'd be back to 0. So this is called net metering. What the utility company does, once you're on solar, they put you on a net metering program where your bill is different. What happens is, you get a statement every month that'll show you how much power you used but not only that, how much you pushed in the grid, right? And it'll tell you if you have credits or if you owe them money. So again, if you fell short a month and you owe them 200 kilowatt hours, right? Then you would pay that. You wouldn't pay them for that 200. What happens is they have a true-up period 1 year after the date your system was turned on. Why do they do that? Say this 200 kilowatt hours equates to $20. Just again for simple numbers. So you owe them $20 because you know what? Your utilities, you used more than you made. So you owe them $20. But again, last May, you had overproduced, right? Or if you overproduced a month. Well, then you have a credit. So that will wipe away that debt that you owe. So because of that, what the utility company does is your bill is only due once a year, so it can go through all the seasons. Because you're going to find, obviously, the sun travels different times of the year. In the summer, it's going to be higher in the sky, and it's going to be out longer. In the winter, it's going to be lower. So in the summer, you're going to see a lot higher performance. So if you look at the production of a solar system, generally, a graph would kind of go like that. You're going to have bigger production seasons in the summer and a little bit lower in the winter. Okay? Because obviously the sun's out longer and you get more daylight. So that's generally what you'll see as solar production. So in these summer months you're going to produce more than you do in the winter. Again, that's why they have a credit program where if you produce more here and you don't use it, well then great, you can use it for stuff that you're going to use here in the future or stuff that you owed them back here. So again, it's a crediting system. It's called net metering. It's something you can easily look up and read on. And it just simply helps you understand how basically energy is put into the grid and you are credited for it. There are some people that will bring up and say that, oh, well, the utility company buy my extra power. They don't buy the extra power here, like in Nevada, for example, they don't buy the extra power. It depends on where you live. Here they do not in Nevada. Depends on the utility company. Most of them do not, but they do give you credits. Now real quick, the only thing else I really want you to understand, I didn't do a very good job, I'm going to have to do that better, is with a kilowatt hour, right, we're using arbitrary numbers. So if I said you used 1,000 kilowatt hours, right? So you used 1,000 kilowatt hours. Let's just real quick, we'll look at this. So if I took, I mean, it's real simple, right? So in Nevada here, at least at the current time, the rate's about 15 cents a kilowatt hour, okay? So every state's different. California, you're looking at 26 cents. Hawaii, you're looking at 41 cents. Idaho, you're looking at 8 cents, right? It's different all over the country. So let's take Nevada. Say you use 15 cents a kilowatt for your power. 1,000 kilowatts will equal $150. So this person would get a bill for $150, right? 1,000 kilowatts equals $150. Really simple, not very hard to explain. There are summer and winter rates, depending on which utility you're with. I generally don't go into that a ton. It doesn't make a huge difference, but there are summer and winter rates. But on average, the average rate is around 15 cents, for example, here in Las Vegas. So again, just a quick way to help people understand how the sun hits the solar panels. Photovoltaic solar panels goes into the inverter, converts the power, pushes it into your meter, rolls your meter backwards or forwards, right? Forwards as you use power, backwards as you push it in, and then you're able to pull those credits off the grid, right? To be able to eliminate your electric bill. So that's just a little bit on how solar works, and we'll go into more details later.